The Information Technology and General Government Affairs Committee will now come to order. I'll announce first that items 2 and 4 will be continued until our January 5th meeting, or the meeting that this committee has in the month of January. So with that, we will begin with item number 6.
And item number 6 is a Chief Legislative Analyst report and a resolution relative to city support for H.R. 1677 and S. 1222, which would expand benefits and extend the designation of empowerment zones and renewal communities.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair. I'm Clay McCarter from the CLA's office. H.R. 1677 and S. 1222 extend the empowerment zone and renewal community to December 31st, 2015. Currently, these zones are set to expire this December 31st, 2009. And besides that major provision of extending the zones until 2015, they relax the residency requirements in the empowerment zone. They grant authority to expand the boundaries of the empowerment zone. They allow carryovers of unused expensing allowances for businesses in the zone. They add a new wage credit for zone residents that are employed outside the zone. And they allow certain empowerment zone businesses to elect to receive payments in lieu of tax benefits. And subsequent to this, after writing this report, we've learned that these bills are not expected to be heard in this year. And so Congressman Rangel has introduced a new bill, H.R. 4213, which extends the programs until December 31st, 2010. And this bill, we've also just learned that it's not expected to be heard this year as well. It will probably be heard next year, and if it is approved, then it would be applied retroactively to the 1st of January.
Okay, well, let's hope they get to it.
And we've attached a revised resolution that supports these two bills, H.R. 1677 and S. 1222, but also supports any bill to extend the zones.
Okay. All right. So it involves 3 bills now?
Well, it's the two 1677 and S 1222, but then any other, then we leave it open-ended, so any congressional action to extend the designation time.
Okay. All right. Okay. Is there anybody here to make comment on item number 6? We are now on item number 6. Public comment is now open on item number 6. Do not see any public comment cards for item number 6 before me. See no one come forward. Public comment on item number 6 is now closed. With that, it is the communication of the chair to adopt a revised resolution to support H.R. 1677 and Senate Bill 1222 and any other bills that involve the empowerment zones and renewal communities extensions. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now we go to item number 1.
Item number 1 is a CAO report relative to a 10% waiver of membership dues from the Southern California Association of Governments.
Good afternoon, Jennifer Lopez with the CAO's office. Before you is an informational report in response to council instruction requesting 10% waivers of dues from the Southern California Association of Governments, also known as SCAG. In early July 2009, SCAG actually submitted or transmitted a letter to the city providing us a 10% waiver of our dues and an amount of $277,048. We were actually assessed $307, so our total savings for the year would be $30,783. The city clerk actually processed the payment under the 10% waiver for $277,048, and so what we would recommend is that this report be received and filed since no further action is necessary.
Okay. Okay, thank you for that report. It's good that we're saving a little bit of money. Okay, we're now on item number 1. Is there anybody here to speak on item number 1? Public comment is open on item number 1. Seeing no one come forward, no public comment cards on item number 1 before me. Public comment is closed. So with that, we'll receive and file the CAO report. Thank you. Now we move to item number 3.
Item number 3 is a motion, Weezer Smith, relative to requesting that the Department of General Services reserve appropriate offices at Figueroa Plaza for the Human Services Department and the Department of Aging, and that the department work directly with all the departments to effectuate the relocation to Figueroa Plaza.
Chuck Rubin from General Services. The strategic real estate plan that is going to be presented to you, to this committee, in January actually reflects the intent of this motion. We have space for human services, we believe now, and we'll have space for the Department of Aging within the next few years.
Okay. If we keep reducing these departments and their personnel, they might fit in a closet pretty soon. So maybe if we just drag our feet a little bit, we won't even need to accommodate them anywhere.
Right.
I'm just going by the record of the budget process over the last few years and the clamoring that comes from some of the elected officials in the city. Okay. So with that, we are on item number 3. Is there anybody here to make public comment on item number 3? Public comment on item number 3 is now open. I do not see any public comment cards for item number 3. Is anybody here who would like to come forward to comment on item number 3? Seeing and hearing none, public comment on item number 3 is now closed. So with that, it is the recommendation of the chair that we adopt the motion. Thank you.
Thank you.
We now move to item number 5.
Item number 5 is a report from the City Administrative Officer relative to the second construction projects report for fiscal year 2009-10.
Alma Gibson with the CAO's office. Once again, we're here submitting the construction projects report. This is the second one for this fiscal year, and again, these reports recommend funding adjustments to various construction projects throughout the city that are needed to keep the projects on track. These financial adjustments consist primarily of reimbursements to city departments from general obligation bonds, MICLA financings, the Capital Improvement Expenditure Fund, as well as QUIMBY funds. Of the $22.6 million recommended in transfers and appropriations in this report, approximately $11 million is for the estimated staff cost reimbursements for this fiscal year. This is about $8 million of direct costs that are reimbursed to the departments, and it also equals about $3 million in indirect costs to reimburse the general fund. And again, these are for staff cost reimbursements for work done on the police administration building, the Prop F Fire and Animal Facilities Program, Prop G Seismic Bond Program, Prop Q, which is the citywide public safety program, and Prop DD, the library bond program. Positions for these programs have been authorized by resolution, and funding is for services provided by city staff, which may include program, project, and construction management, project control, which includes the monitoring of expenditures, property acquisition, which includes relocation assistance, and specialized support, such as ITA services. In addition, approximately $9.8 million is recommended for transfer and appropriations within various city funds. Of this amount, 5.9 is for the reprogramming of residual funding from various recreation and parks projects to be set aside to address construction shortfalls. And finally, approximately $1.7 million is recommended for appropriations to GSD to perform construction work on various projects for the police department, or various police stations, various fire stations, street services, yards, recreation and park projects, as well as CRA projects. We have representatives for projects listed in this report available to answer any questions.
Okay. When it comes to recommendation G, how much of the money from the forfeited assets trust fund has been used for construction services?
I don't know if we have anybody here from our department, the police department. However, I'm not sure at this time. What we could do is get back to you to identify how much is going for capital projects.
Thank you. What's the status of the process when it comes to apparently there's a issue with a hot water system, and when it comes to attachment number 2, recommendation 12?
The status of the solution for the hot water system? If I could have somebody from the police department, public administration building project. Thank you, Julie.
Good afternoon, Julie Sauter with the Bureau of Engineering. Right now, what we did is through the construction contract, we went ahead and made some corrections to the hot water return system. At that time, we felt that the solution would work, but because the building is being occupied by LAPD, we weren't 100% sure that the solution would accommodate the future loading of the entire building. So this appropriation that we have is that once the building is fully occupied, if we find that the system is not performing adequately, that we would be able to go in with general service and make a permanent correction to the hot water system. But currently, as the correction was made, we find that the hot water return system has been stabilized.
And what caused the initial shortfall in the system? Was it a design?
It was this design error, correct?
Okay. So who's absorbing that at the end of the day when all is said and done?
Right now, it is the initial correction that we had was issued through a change order to the construction contract. When we issue change orders, we do designate whether it's an errors in emission, unforeseen conditions, or change in scope. At the end of the project, we do an evaluation of how much of a percentage of the change was due to errors in emissions, and we will be evaluating that at the end of the project.
Okay, so you'll determine that later on? You'll determine that
Yes.
later? Okay. Okay. Thank you. Is there anybody here to make a comment on item number 5? Public comment for item number 5 is now open. I do not see any public comment cards on item number 5 before me. Is there anybody here to make public comment on item number 5? Seeing and hearing no one come forward for public comment on item number 5, public comment on item number 5 is now closed. With that, it is the recommendation of the chair that the CAO report and recommendations be approved. Okay. That concludes the scheduled items for the agenda today to this committee. Is there anybody here for general public comment to this committee? General public comment for this committee is now open. Seeing and hearing no one come forward for general public comment to this committee, general public comment is now closed. With that, this committee is now adjourned.